Hi, I'm Dan with Family White TV, and today I'm doing a quick video about gaming lag and motion blur, or lack thereof, on a LG OLED55B6P television. This is an organic LED television, and this is a TV that I actually did a review of on YouTube. And one of the questions I got asked several times in the comments section was if I had noticed any gaming lag. And so in response to that, I'm doing this video. So, the video that I have here, this is all shot using my Samsung Galaxy 7 phone, and this was all shot at 240 frames per second, and it's played back at 30 frames per second. So you're seeing this at roughly about 1/8 of normal speed. Now, as you see the numbers on the stopwatch, you can notice that my laptop screen on the bottom left corner of the screen is ahead of the TV a little bit. It's connected to the television through an HDMI cable, and the television is set to game mode right now. And with the television in game mode, you can see that the television, if you pause the video at any time here, you'll see that the television is about 1/10 of a second, or about 100 milliseconds behind. When I analyzed the actual frames of the video, I found out that in game mode I'm getting approximately 104 milliseconds of lag between when it shows up on the laptop screen and when it shows up on the television. Now when I went to cinema mode here, there is a little bit more lag. When I analyzed the frame rate, I found that I'm getting about 132 milliseconds of lag going on. And then I also turned on true motion, which you really shouldn't be doing if you're playing a game, but if you're playing in not game mode with true motion, it's actually roughly the same, about 134 milliseconds of lag. Now here's some game footage of some lag, and yes, I know the game is kind of low resolution. That's because it's running off my laptop. My laptop isn't super powerful. It was when I bought it, but game's advanced. But anyhow, what you're looking at here is just the lag of what it looks like between the laptop and the television. And really from the quick research I did, about 100 milliseconds is about the maximum you'd want for gaming lag, and it really depends on what kind of gaming you're doing. If you're doing Twitch gaming or super fast, like a first-person shooter where it's important to not be roughly 6 frames behind, or if you're just playing more casual like a RPG or something like that, then lag isn't going to affect you as much. I did play this game on it a lot when I first got the television, and the lag didn't really bother me. It wasn't something that I personally had found offensive. But this isn't a super fast-paced first-person shooter, so having that super competitive edge isn't as important as it might be with some games, perhaps. Another thing I wanted to talk about that I noticed with this video is motion blur. If you look at the numbers as they change on the laptop screen and compare it to the numbers changing on the television, you'll notice that the numbers on the laptop screen are a little bit blurry. And that's because the numbers are fading away as they change on the laptop screen, because the laptop is an LCD screen, whereas the OLED television is an OLED screen. And so what I noticed was that there is basically next to no motion blur on the OLED television. I mean, there might be a tiny bit, but there's not a lot. And as I was going over this video and pausing it, I found that with my laptop screen, it took about 28.7 milliseconds for a number to fade completely away. On my IPA monitor that I have hooked up to my gaming computer, it was about 33.7 milliseconds for a number to fade away. But on the OLED television, it was 5 milliseconds. I mean, if that. If there are certain times I could pause it and I could see 2 numbers at once on the OLED television, but that was just for 1 frame. And when I say 1 frame, remember this was shot at 240 frames per second. So at that frame rate, just 1 frame shows 2 numbers at the same time, and the very next frame it's all gone. So as far as motion blur is concerned, OLED is king here. I mean, there is basically, I don't think you'd really notice any motion blur. Here's in a game here, this is what the OLED television looks like. As I move around here, you notice, and I also turned off the motion blur effect in the game, but it's nice and sharp here. And here it is in real speed, so you can see it in real time. And then here it is on my IPA monitor, hooked to my gaming computer. You see that it's kind of all messed up there. Remember, motion blur is disabled as an effect in the game, so this is just what you're seeing on the screen. and it's kind of a little bit of a mess. And here's what it looks like in real time. So, in conclusion, the OLED television is pretty much king in terms of motion blur because there is no motion blur. I mean, unless you're Superman and you can see at 240 frames per second, and you can notice that one frame there's a little bit of blur. You're not going to notice it on an OLED television. I mean, it's just non-existent. On LCD displays, some others, or an LCD television, you might notice the motion blur. I mean, it can last for a little while. And I know that the specs that they give, they say, 12 milliseconds or something, but I didn't have their equipment that they measure with, so I'm just interpreting, or I'm just analyzing the frames that I see on the video, and I'm getting about 33 milliseconds of delay on LCD panels and 5 milliseconds, if that, on an OLED panel. So there's what it looks like for gaming lag and motion blur, and hopefully this will help you make your purchase decision. Thanks for watching.